My dear child, lean your heart upon me and stop trying to carry the whole world on your small shoulders. I never created you to face every storm on your own. There are days when you try to be strong before everyone, trying to keep everything from falling apart. But when night comes, your soul is exhausted because it has fought for too long in its own strength. My child, I see this. I see the pressures you have never put into words. I hear even the sighs you hide in silence. But today, I want you to remember this. You do not have to walk alone. Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you. As 1 Peter 5:7 says, I am not only the God of great miracles, I am also the gentle refuge for your weary soul. When you try to cling to your own strength, you will quickly run dry, like a river cut off from its source. But when you learn to lean on me, I will renew your strength day by day. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. As Isaiah 40:31 says, the eagle does not fight the wind in panic. It uses that very strong current to lift itself higher. In the same way, the things that are trying to weigh you down today will become the place where I teach you to fly by faith instead of sinking in fear. I do not promise that you will never face storms, but I promise that they will not swallow you when you remain in me. My beloved child, the days ahead are not merely the closing of an old season. I am opening before you a new chapter, a chapter of awakening, restoration, and souls rising in the light. Too many people are asleep in the midst of this chaotic age, compromising with darkness just to gain temporary peace. But I am calling a different generation those who no longer live halfway, who no longer hide their light under the basket of fear or compromise. You are the light of the world. As Matthew 5:14 says, I am calling you to step out of dimness so that you may reflect my light more clearly than ever before. My dear child, I am not only the one who formed the heavens and the earth by the word of my power, I am also the one who holds every season in my hands. Not a single day of your life is outside my sight. From the first breath you took when you entered this world to the very moment you are reading these words, I have known it all. I remember every tear you cried in the dark when no one saw. I remember the prayers you thought you had spoken into silent emptiness. And I also remember the dreams you once buried deep because you were afraid of being disappointed again. All your days were written in my book. As Psalm 139:16 says, nothing in your journey is meaningless or forgotten. There are moments when you look at your life and see only scattered pieces, failures, delays, and turns you cannot understand. But my child, I see the whole picture that I began long ago. The weaver does not look only at each individual thread. He sees the finished tapestry slowly taking shape. In the same way, I am weaving everything in your life into something good. Even the parts you once thought were only filled with pain. Remember, Joseph, the years of betrayal and imprisonment seemed like nothing but a meaningless chain of days. But then the time came when he understood that I had used it all to prepare him for a purpose far greater than he had imagined. You are the same, my beloved child. What you have gone through is becoming part of the story I will use to touch others. Now I want to share with you the things that belong to this new season, not so that you may exalt yourself or amaze others, but so that you may stand firm in days of shaking and become a source of hope for others. I do not give revelation to feed pride. I give it as a lamp for souls who have lost their way. Too many people around you are weary, disoriented, and walking without knowing why they still exist. And I want to use your restored life to remind them that I am still at work. Remember the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. What he brought seemed far too small before the need of the crowd. But when it was placed in my hands, it became a source of nourishment for thousands. You are the same. My beloved child, perhaps you think your life is too ordinary to make a great impact. But I do not need perfection. I need a heart that is willing to be used. The words of encouragement you speak, the prayers you lift up, the wounds I heal within you, all of these can become loaves and fish in my hands to nourish many other souls. Therefore, do not close your heart in this new season. Do not seek safety only for yourself. I am calling you to become an instrument that carries light into dark places and hope into places of despair. There are people who will find the strength to keep living simply because they see how I keep you standing firm. There are souls who will return to the light simply because they hear a true testimony from your very life. My beloved child, continue to lean on me each day. When you are weak, I will strengthen you. When you are confused, I will guide your way. When you feel that you are not enough, I will remind you that my power is made perfect in your weakness. Do not fear the new season ahead. I have already gone before you, and as you walk with me, you will not only see your own life renewed, but also see my light through you. Touch other hearts that are longing to find hope in life again. My dear child, I speak to you today not with fragile promises like the words people often speak and then forget, but with the certainty of the one who saw both the beginning and the end before time itself was created. Nothing in the future surprises me, and no upheaval lies beyond my sovereign rule. Therefore, you do not need to understand every step of the road ahead in order to walk in peace. What you need to know is that I am faithful. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. As Revelation 22:13 says, when you take my hand, you are holding the hand of the one who has already gone before you in every season of life. There are times when my plan for you does not look like what your heart expected. You ask for a smooth road, but I lead you over steep hills so that the feet of your soul may grow stronger. You long to see the answer immediately, but I allow you to wait so that your faith may take deeper root. My beloved child, I do not do this to disappoint you. The potter does not press the clay through fire to destroy the vessel, but to make it stronger and more beautiful. I am also training you, opening your spiritual eyes, and preparing your heart for something greater than what you can see today. Do not think that the trials you pass through are a sign that I have forgotten you. It was in the wilderness that I taught Israel to trust me day by day. It was in prison that Joseph was prepared for the throne. It was in the midst of a stormy sea that the disciples learned that I have authority, even over the wind and the waves. Every trial you endure is like a step lifting you higher into spiritual maturity. And every season of waiting is not an empty space without meaning, but a place where my grace sinks more deeply into your soul. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. As James 1:3 says, I am building within you a foundation that will not be easily shaken by the storms of this age. My beloved child, rise up in faith. I do not want your heart to become hardened by pain, but neither do I want it to become weak before the voices of fear. Stand firm like a rock in your trust in me, yet remain gentle enough to hear the guidance of the Holy Spirit. There are those who become cold after being wounded, and little by little they lose the ability to hear my voice. But I am keeping your heart alive so that even in the midst of a chaotic world, you will still recognize the path I am leading you on. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. As Psalm 32:8 says, do not fear the days ahead. I am holding your hand, not from afar, but walking with you in every step. When the people of Israel crossed the Red Sea, I did not merely show them the way, I was present among them through the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire. In the same way, my child, I will not simply reveal the path and leave you to manage on your own. I will be beside you through every season, every decision, and every battle. There will be moments when you do not understand why things unfold the way they do. But in the end, you will look back and realize that my hand arranged every detail with wisdom, far beyond human understanding. I am the keeper of times and seasons. No season arrives too early or too late within my plan. There are things I withhold not because I desire to deny you, but because I know that the right timing will make the blessing more complete. A wise farmer does not harvest fruit while it is still green. In the same way, I know when your soul has matured enough for what I am about to place into your hands. Therefore, do not grow impatient with my process. To everything there is a season. As Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, and even now, I am leading you into a significant moment within the flow of history. My beloved child, these closing months of the year are not merely a transition on the calendar hanging upon the wall. I am marking a spiritual season far deeper than what natural eyes can see. There are movements already taking place within the hearts of many across this earth. There are souls being awakened from spiritual coldness. There are people who once drifted far from me who will begin to hunger again for the light. I am preparing an awakening that will not be limited by borders, languages, or status. It will spread like wind across a dry field, carrying with it the fresh breath of life. But my child, I do not speak these things to plant fear about the future. I speak them so that you may prepare yourself like the wise man who built his house upon the rock. When the rain falls and the floods rise, that foundation will still stand firm. I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. As Joel 2:28 says, what I promised long ago will continue to be revealed in fresh and more powerful ways in this season. There will be young people awakened through visions. There will be weary souls restored through my presence. There will be communities that were once dry and barren beginning to live again in faith. My beloved child, I want you to become part of what I am doing upon this earth, not through noise or by seeking fame for yourself, but through a life that truly belongs to me. I want you to stand firm in this age of upheaval like a lamp that does not go out in the middle of the night. I want others, through your life, to see that I am still moving, still healing, still restoring, and still redeeming. Therefore today, place your heart completely into my hands. Do not live like one swept away by the currents of this world. Live instead as a witness of eternal light. Let my word become the foundation of your mind. Let my presence become the resting place for your soul. And when history enters new moments, you will not stand in confusion, but remain firm, with eyes wide open and a heart full of hope, knowing that I, the one who holds time, seasons, and the future, am guiding every step of your life with a love that never changes. My beloved child, the days will come when my presence becomes so evident that many will no longer be able to deny it. Not only through sermons spoken from pulpits, not only through familiar rituals repeated by human lips, but through a deep touch upon the soul itself. People will feel me like a cool wind blowing across the burning desert of the heart, like living water pouring into places where hope has long been dry and empty. If anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. As John 7:37 says, I am preparing to pour out that living water upon many souls who are weary from this chaotic world. Too many walls have been built between humanity and me, walls of doubt, wounds, lifeless religion, and the hardness of the human heart. But my beloved child, I am beginning to tear those things down. Just as the veil in the temple was torn from top to bottom, I am making a way for people not merely to know about me with their minds, but to truly encounter me in a personal and living way. Families that once seemed shattered will find healing again. Communities once divided will begin to be restored through love. Cities drowning in despair will see the light of hope kindled once more. My beloved child, what I am about to pour out will not be like a passing rain that disappears with the season. It will be like a flood of grace sweeping across the driest lands of the human heart. My love will touch people, not merely to comfort them for a moment, but to transform them deep within. The low desires that once bound them will begin to lose their power. A new hunger for my presence will awaken. Many will kneel in silence with tears flowing freely, not because anyone forced them, but because their souls have finally touched what they have been searching for all these years. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. As Matthew 5:6 says, I am preparing to fill the hearts of those who truly long for me. My beloved child, true revival always comes together with purification. I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins that have already decayed. Therefore, I will shake many things that people have clung to. Foundations built upon falsehood will no longer stand firm. Things that are only outward form without true life will gradually be exposed beneath my light. Do not fear this. A gardener must prune dead branches so the tree may bear more fruit. In the same way, I am purifying my people so that what remains will not be merely the appearance of religion, but hearts that truly belong to me. I will raise up those whom the world has barely noticed, souls who have prayed quietly in the darkness of night, those who remained faithful even when no one saw them, those who loved me with sincerity rather than reputation. Remember David, while others looked at his brothers with their impressive stature and outward appearance, I chose the shepherd boy quietly tending the fields. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. As 1 Samuel 16:7 says, what determines who I use is not status or name, but a tender heart that is willing to obey me. My beloved child, this is the time for you to prepare yourself. Do not merely stand on the sidelines watching what I am doing with amazement. I want you to become part of that flow. Let your soul become like a living altar where the fire of the Holy Spirit can burn continually. Present your bodies as a living and holy sacrifice. As Romans 12:1 says, I am not seeking empty rituals. I am seeking hearts that truly hunger for my presence above all else. Learn to become still before me. In a world filled with noise and distractions, the one who knows how to listen to my voice will find the way through the midst of chaos. Elijah did not encounter me in the mighty wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper. You are the same. My beloved child, some of the most important guidance will not come through loudness, but through moments when your soul becomes quiet enough to hear me whispering. Dig deeply into my word, like one digging a well in the desert. When the roots of your faith are planted deeply in truth, the storm will no longer easily overthrow you. I want you to prepare like a farmer preparing for the harvest. A wise farmer does not wait until harvest time before beginning to sow seeds. Even today, sow the seeds of prayer, obedience, and trust. Guard the soil of your heart from the weeds of doubt and bitterness. If you allow those things to grow unchecked, they will drain away the life I desire to grow within you. But if you care for your soul through my word and my presence, then in the proper season you will see beautiful fruit appear abundantly. My beloved child, the days ahead are not only a new chapter for the world, but also a new chapter for your own life. I am calling you to step out from the hesitation that has held you back for far too long. Do not continue to make yourself smaller because of fear of failure or because of old memories. I am opening something greater before you, and as I pour the fire of my love upon many souls, I want you to become one of those who carries that flame to others. When storms arise, you will stand firm, not by your own strength, but by my power sustaining you. When many are confused, you will carry my peace. When many souls hunger for light, your life will become a guiding lamp. And then you will understand that every season in which I prepared you was never meaningless. I am leading you into a moment where your soul will not merely hear about my works, but will truly live within the flow of my revival and everlasting love. My beloved child, keep your heart at peace when you see the world around you beginning to shake. I have already told you that there will be times when everything humanity once believed to be secure will be tested. Systems built upon pride and self-reliance will reveal how fragile they truly are. Values that many considered unshakable foundations will begin to tremble beneath the weight of truth. But my beloved child, do not let your soul panic like those who do not know the one who holds history in his hands. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. As Psalm 46:1 says, "When everything around you is shaken, I remain unchanged." You will see darkness increasing in many places, but never forget that darkness has never been able to extinguish the true light. The deeper the night becomes, the brighter the dawn will appear. It is precisely in moments that seem most chaotic that my light will shine more clearly than ever before. People will realize that money cannot save their souls from emptiness. Power cannot bring peace to their hearts. The things they once depended upon will not be strong enough to keep them standing. And then, in the midst of all that brokenness, many souls will begin to lift their eyes to seek me like wanderers, searching for a light in the darkness of night. My beloved child, there are many people walking in darkness without even realizing they are lost. They smile outwardly, yet their souls are exhausted within. They seek life in things that can never fill their hearts. But I am preparing to awaken them. Like the sun slowly rising after a long night, truth will begin to touch the deepest hidden places of the human heart. Hearts that were once hardened will become tender again. Souls that were once closed because of wounds and doubt will begin to open before my presence. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. As Isaiah 9:2 says, that light is not the dry theory of religion. It is my living presence touching the human soul personally and deeply. I will allow many people to feel me like cool water flowing into the driest places of the soul. There are those who have grown weary from trying to save themselves. There are those who believe they have gone too far to still be loved. But when my Holy Spirit touches them, they will understand that my love has never stopped pursuing them. Remember Saul on the road to Damascus. The one who once opposed me most fiercely became a powerful instrument in my hands. Therefore, never think that any soul is too far away to be redeemed. I can still soften the hardest heart and bring the driest soul back to life. My beloved child, the prayers you have lifted up in loneliness have never vanished into silent emptiness. I heard every choked sob as you interceded for your family. I saw the tears you shed in the night when you thought no one understood you. I remember every plea you uttered for lost souls. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. As James 5:16 says, "Not one sincere prayer is forgotten before my throne. I gather them all like fragrant incense rising before me." And now I am preparing to answer in ways far beyond what you have ever imagined. There will be a great harvest of souls that many never thought they would witness. Those who once said they did not need me will kneel in tears when their souls touch the truth. Those who once thought their lives were ruined will suddenly feel my loving arms covering them. Remember the parable of the prodigal son. When the son returned in shame and brokenness, the father did not stand far away, waiting to condemn him. He ran to embrace his child. In the same way, my beloved child, I take no pleasure in a soul being lost. I am waiting to embrace those who return to me with a love greater than every mistake they have ever carried. Therefore, do not let your heart grow cold amid the upheavals of this age. Do not look only at the chaos and forget what I am doing behind the curtain of history. I am preparing an awakening wider and deeper than what your eyes can see today. And I want you to become a bearer of hope in that season, when many are confused. Stand firm in my peace. When many souls are desperate, speak words of life. When many are sinking in darkness, let my light through your life guide them forward. My beloved child, do not fear the season of shaking that is coming. The one who builds a house upon the rock will not be swept away when the storms arise. Continue to deepen your roots in my word. Keep the fire of prayer burning brightly within your soul. Let my love soften your heart each day. For when many people begin to awaken and seek the light, I want your life to become a place where they can see my faithfulness living and active. I am opening the heavens over many souls. I am preparing rivers of grace to flow through the driest lands. And my beloved child, I want you to stand in the midst of that season not as one who fears upheaval, but as a witness of the light, one who knows that even while the world trembles, my love and my power are moving more strongly than ever before. My beloved child, I want you to understand that what I am preparing upon this earth is not merely an outward change or a few passing emotional moments. This is a deep awakening within the human soul, a spiritual rising that no power of darkness will be able to stop. I will breathe my life across lands that were once barren, and that wave of grace will spread beyond every border, every language, and every barrier humanity has built. It will be like a mighty flood washing away old chains, restoring what has fallen, and bringing forth life where there once seemed to be nothing but ashes. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. As Isaiah 44:3 says, what I speak is not some distant image. I am already beginning to move even now. And my beloved child, you also are being called into this work. Do not diminish yourself by thinking that this calling belongs only to famous people or to souls you consider stronger than yourself. Before you were born, I placed within you spiritual seeds that no one else can carry in your place. There are gifts lying deep within your soul like seeds sleeping beneath the ground through a long winter. At times, you have thought yourself ordinary, believing there was nothing special about your life. But I see an entire future forest hidden within that tiny seed. And now, I am bringing you into the right season for the things I planted within you to begin to grow. Remember Jeremiah? When I called him, he looked at himself and said he was too young and too weak to speak on my behalf. But I answered him, do not say, I am only a child. In the same way, my beloved child, do not allow feelings of inadequacy to make you reject what I am awakening within you. I did not choose you because you were perfect. I chose you because I can pour my spirit upon a heart willing to surrender. As my appointed time draws near, those gifts will rise up like living water, springing from dry ground. You will feel a new stirring within your heart, a stirring to pray more deeply, to love more fully, and to speak words that bring life instead of despair. I will use your mouth to bring hope to weary souls. There will be words I place within your heart that will touch others at the exact moment they need them most. Not words of heavy condemnation, but prophetic words that carry life. Reminders that I am still calling the lost to return to me. I have put my words in your mouth. As Jeremiah 1:9 says, when you walk closely with me, the words you speak will no longer be mere sounds, but will carry the breath of the Holy Spirit to awaken hope within fading souls. And my beloved child, I will also allow healing to flow through your life, not because you are more special than others, but because I am faithful to my promises. There will be people who find peace when you pray with them. There will be hearts chained by fear, addiction, shame, or despair that begin to be set free when my light touches them through your life. Remember Peter. Once he was only a fearful fisherman, yet my Holy Spirit transformed him into an instrument through whom many lives were changed. What I can do through a life that is fully surrendered has not changed even to this day. But, my beloved child, Do not think these things begin on great stages or in glorious moments before the eyes of people. A great harvest is always prepared in hidden places. It is the quiet hours of prayer that no one sees that are causing the roots of your faith to grow deeper. It is the small acts of love you carry out each day that are shaping your heart to become more like mine. It is your faithfulness in little things that is preparing you for greater things. Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. As Luke 16:10 says, "Therefore, do not despise the days that seem ordinary. Heaven is using them to refine you. I am shaping your soul like a blacksmith heating iron in the fire to forge a mighty sword. At times the process feels painful, and you do not understand why you must pass through so many trials. But my beloved child, I am preparing you not merely to stand and watch the revival, but to truly step into its flow as an instrument I can use. And you will not walk alone. This is not the season for isolated souls trying to carry every burden in their own strength. I am awakening an entire people across this earth, those who hunger for me more than for reputation or personal gain. They will become brothers and sisters walking beside you. There are people I will bring into your life to strengthen you when you are weary, to pray with you when you are discouraged, and to remind you that you are not fighting alone. If two lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? As Ecclesiastes 4:11 says, I am building a body united in my love and my power. My beloved child, prepare your heart for this new season. Do not allow fear or insecurity to keep you standing on the sidelines any longer. Let me awaken the things I placed within you from the very beginning. Continue praying. Continue keeping your heart tender. And continue walking in obedience. Then you will see the seeds that once lay dormant will grow into trees of life. And your very life will become a place where many souls find shade, hope, and healing within my presence. My beloved child, I want you to learn to look at the world and at your own journey, not merely through natural eyes, but through spiritual eyes enlightened by the Holy Spirit. If you look only at what is visible before you, it will be easy to be swept into fear when darkness seems to spread around you. But my child, the darkness of night is not a sign that the light has failed. Often it is a sign that dawn is very near. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. As John 1:5 says, when you see chaos increasing, do not panic like those who do not know who I am. I still sit upon the eternal throne, and no upheaval exists outside my sovereign rule. When you see many souls confused and wandering, do not allow your heart to sink into despair. It is precisely in such moments that even the smallest light becomes exceedingly precious. A lamp in the daytime may hardly be noticed, but in the night it becomes a guide for those who are lost. I am calling you to become such a lamp, not through noise or by seeking recognition from people, but through a life that reflects my peace and my hope. Shine as lights in the world. As Philippians 2:15 says, there will be people who find the strength to keep living simply because they see me in the way you love, pray, and stand firm in the midst of storms. My beloved child, do not give up when your prayers seem unanswered. I know there have been nights when you cried out to me through tears, only to wake the next morning and see that nothing appeared to have changed. There are prayers you have carried for many years, and at times your heart has grown weary because of them. But my child, silence does not mean that I am not working. A farmer does not dig up the seed every day to check whether it has begun to grow. He trusts that life is quietly at work beneath the soil. In the same way, I am working in places you cannot yet see. Though the vision tarries, wait for it. As Habakkuk 2:3 says, I do not forget a single prayer that rises from a sincere heart. Remember Daniel. From the very first day, he humbled himself to seek me. The answer was already released. Even though there was a battle in the spiritual realm before it reached him, you are the same. My beloved child, there are blessings I am holding back, not because I refuse you, but because I am preparing the right moment for what I give to become more complete than you could imagine. I am never late, according to the calendar of heaven. And today, I am calling you to step into a higher level of faith. This is no longer the season for you to stand at a distance and only watch. I want your voice to carry the anointing of hope. There are words I will place within your heart to lift up the desperate and to remind the lost that they are still loved. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life. As Proverbs 10:11 says, when you allow my word to fill your heart, your lips will no longer speak merely from human emotion, but will begin to release life and healing. I also want your hands to become hands of prayer and service. There are people who need one loving touch more than 1,000 long sermons. There are souls who will feel my presence when you pray with them, sincerely. Remember the Good Samaritan. He did not only express compassion with words, he bent down and bound the wounds of the injured man. In the same way, my beloved child, I am calling you to become someone who carries healing and restoration in a wounded world. And I want your heart to become like a stream that never stops flowing with love. Do not allow the wounds of the past to leave your heart dry or closed. I know you have been hurt, disappointed, and at times felt abandoned. But if you allow my love to heal you, the very places that once caused you pain will become the places from which living water flows to others. Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. As John 7:38 says, I am making you into a carrier of fire, the fire of revival, the fire of healing, the fire of spiritual life, not so that you may be glorified, but so that many may see my glory through your life. My beloved child, as you walk in this calling, you will begin to realize that none of your tears were meaningless. The trials that once made you feel forgotten were actually becoming the places where I was refining you. The seasons of waiting that once caused you pain were digging the roots of your faith deeper. There are lessons you can only learn in the valley before you are strong enough to stand upon the mountaintop. Just as Joseph had to pass through the pit and the prison before entering the palace, you too are being prepared for my appointed time. And the day will come when you look back upon your journey, and your tears will no longer be tears of pain, but tears of gratitude. You will realize that it was my hand holding you in the days when you thought you were most alone. It was I who kept you from falling in battles you were not strong enough to overcome by yourself. And you will understand that everything I allowed to happen was leading you to the place I had prepared for you from the very beginning. Therefore today, my beloved child, continue walking with your spiritual eyes wide open. Do not fear the darkness that is increasing. Do not grow discouraged because of the waiting. Do not shrink back from my greater calling upon your life. Let my light burn brightly within you. Let my love flow through you. And let your faith continue to stand firm. For I am leading you through every valley in order to bring you to the appointed time when everything I have promised will bloom like the dawn after a long night. My beloved child, when you see injustice spreading and those who use power to crush others seeming to stand firm, do not let your heart conclude that I am silent or powerless. There are moments when people believe they can build their thrones upon lies, manipulación, and oppression without consequence. They think darkness will forever conceal their actions, and that the cries of the weak will disappear into emptiness. But my beloved child, nothing can be hidden from my eyes. Nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest. As Luke 8:17 says, my light will shine into the deepest places that people believe no one can see. The hands that wounded the innocent will not escape justice forever. The mouths that spread lies in order to manipulate and destroy will not hold their power forever. There are systems built upon greed and injustice that appear strong like mighty fortresses, yet they are only houses built upon sand. When the winds of truth begin to rise and the waters of my justice begin to flow, they will start to tremble. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house. And it fell, and great was its fall. As Matthew 7:27 says, I do not merely look at the outward structures humanity builds. I look at the true foundations beneath them. My beloved child, when I speak of judgment, do not think of it as blind anger like the way humanity often reacts in the flesh. My judgment is the restoration of order that sin has distorted. It is like a gardener pruning away dead branches so the tree may bear better fruit. It is light shining into darkness so that truth may be revealed. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. As Psalm 89:14 says, I do not delight in seeing evil destroy human souls. Yet neither will I allow darkness to rule forever without being exposed. My beloved child, there are those who have suffered silently for far too long. There are souls who have been overlooked, pushed aside, and wounded by the pride of others. I see it all. I see the mother who weeps quietly because she has been treated unjustly. I see the faithful ones who are mocked because they refuse to compromise with what is wrong. I see the righteous who feel alone in a world filled with deception. But my child, not a single tear of theirs falls without my notice. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, as Psalm 34:18 says, and the time will come when my justice will be revealed clearly before their eyes. Remember the story of Naboth. He was only an ordinary man, yet he was oppressed by the power and greed of King Ahab and Jezebel. People thought they could steal the truth and hide their sin forever. But I saw, I heard, and at the appointed time, I judged that wickedness. In the same way today, my beloved child, I do not overlook what is built upon deception and oppression. Justice may not come at the speed you desire, but that does not mean it will not come. I know there are times when you wonder why the wicked seem to prosper while the righteous suffer loss. You look around and see so much injustice that your soul grows weary. But do not allow what your eyes see to shake your faith. Psalm 73 once raised the same question, until the writer entered my presence and saw the true end of all things. My beloved child, what survives by falsehood cannot stand forever before eternal truth. What is built by pride cannot endure before the wind of my justice. There will come a time when many things are publicly exposed. What was once hidden in darkness will be brought into the light, not to feed human curiosity or revenge, but so the world may know that I am still the righteous God, the one who reigns over history and the nations. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light. As Psalm 37:6 says, I will not allow the truth to remain buried forever. But my beloved child, in the midst of that season of shaking, I also want your heart to guard itself against bitterness and hatred. Do not let the sight of evil make your heart become like the very thing you oppose. I have not called you to walk in revenge, but in light and righteousness. Let me do the work of the judge, while you keep your heart pure and faithful. Do not rejoice over the downfall of others. Rejoice because truth is being restored and justice is being established again. My beloved child, when old things begin to shake, I am not only tearing down, I am also building something new. I am laying foundations for things built upon truth, mercy, and righteousness. There are faithful ones hidden in obscurity today whom I will raise up at the appointed time, not because they seek glory for themselves, but because they have kept their hearts faithful in a dark season, just as Joseph was brought out of the prison on the exact day I appointed. I also know how to bring those who belong to me into the places I have prepared for them. Therefore, my beloved child, do not allow your soul to sink into fear. when you see shaking come upon this world. Stand firm in my presence. Continue walking in truth even when it is difficult. Continue keeping your heart upright even when the world around you is full of compromise. And then you will see that amid every upheaval, I am still at work, not only to judge wickedness, but to establish a new foundation where my light, righteousness, and truth will be revealed more clearly than ever before. My beloved child, do not be surprised if in the days ahead I call you to rise up and bear witness to my truth and justice. I am not only looking for voices that resound before crowds, I am also looking for souls willing to speak the truth in love amid an age filled with chaos and fear. Perhaps you once thought you were too small, too ordinary to be used in something so great. But my beloved child, I often choose what the world considers insignificant in order to reveal my power. I called Moses, even though he trembled and thought he did not know how to speak. I used Esther, a young woman who seemed unknown, to save her people in a dangerous hour. In the same way, I can use your very life to become a light in this season filled with darkness. I will place my words in your mouth so that you may speak the truth, not with the anger of the flesh, but with love and wisdom from heaven. There are people oppressed by fear, lies, and despair who need to hear a voice that carries hope. There are souls trembling in confusion who need a hand to lift them up. And through you, I want them to feel that my justice is not a distant idea written only in books, but a living stream flowing through this world. Open your mouth for the mute. As Proverbs 31:8 says, I am searching for those who will not remain silent before injustice, yet who also refuse to let their hearts be consumed by bitterness or hatred. My beloved child, there will be moments when the ground around you seems to tremble because of upheavals you never imagined you would witness. Things once believed to be unshakable may collapse before your eyes. Doors of power that humanity once depended upon will close. But in those moments, do not fear like those who have no refuge. When the Red Sea stood before the people of Israel and the enemy pursued them from behind, they believed every escape had vanished. Yet it was in the very place where humanity saw only impossibility that I opened a path that had never existed before. It will be the same for you, my beloved child. When the doors built by human hands close, I will open doors that no one can shut. Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. As Revelation 3:8 says, I want you to learn to recognize my hand even in the midst of shaking. There are people who recognize me only in peaceful seasons, but I want you to see me most clearly in the storm. When fierce winds rose upon the sea and the disciples trembled in fear, I came walking upon the waves toward them. They thought they were about to perish, yet I was already near. In the same way, my beloved child, during seasons of upheaval, you will discover that I have never left you. My hand will hold your soul firmly, even while everything around you changes. When the cries of suffering souls rise before my throne, like a mighty flood, I will answer, not with eternal silence, but with justice and restoration. I heard the cries of the people of Israel under slavery in Egypt, and I declared, I have surely seen the affliction of my people. In the same way today, I see those who are oppressed, those who are overlooked, and the souls crushed beneath injustice and fear. And I will act at the appointed time. My justice does not sleep, and my mercy does not run dry. But my beloved child, remember that what I am doing is not the end of hope. Many will look at the shaking and think everything is descending into final darkness. But I tell you, this is a transition into a new season. Just as a seed must fall into the ground and die before it can rise into new life. Many old things will pass away, so that what I am preparing may be born. A new season is coming, a season in which truth is lifted up, justice is honored, and my light shines more powerfully upon this earth than ever before. Those who have remained faithful in silence will be lifted up by me at the appointed time. There are souls who were once despised because they chose to walk in righteousness who will be publicly recognized, not so they may receive glory for themselves, but so the world may see that I am faithful to those who steadfastly follow me. Remember Joseph? People sold him as a slave and forgot him in prison. Yet, on the day I appointed, that same man was raised up before nations. In the same way, my beloved child, your faithfulness in hidden seasons has never once been overlooked by me. And then the time will come when you look back upon your journey with eyes filled with wonder. You will see that not one of my promises ever fell to the ground in vain. The things you once believed were delayed beyond hope were actually arriving at heaven's appointed time. You will understand that my justice has never failed, even when it seems slower than your heart desired. Though the vision tarries, wait for it. As Habakkuk 2:3 says, my beloved child, stand firm in this season. Do not let fear cause you to retreat from my calling. Let your mouth speak the truth in love. Let your hands strengthen the weak. Let your heart become a place of comfort for trembling souls. And as you walk with me in this way, you will witness with your own eyes that my word never passes away. My justice is never late, and my love for my people will never fail. My beloved child, throughout the years that have passed, I know there were many times when you felt as though you were walking through a long journey without end. There were seasons that left your soul weary from waiting, nights when you prayed and the answer still seemed far away, burdens pressing heavily upon you until you questioned why I allowed you to pass through such things. But my beloved child, today I want you to understand that not a single tear of yours has fallen meaninglessly before me. You have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. As Psalm 56:8 says, I saw every moment you persevered when everything within you wanted to give up. I heard every choked prayer you whispered in silence, and all of it is becoming part of the process I am using to prepare you for something greater ahead. You have walked through seasons of refining not because I desired to wound you, but because I am building within you a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. There are things that can only be born through testing. If a seed is never buried in the earth and never passes through the darkness of the soil, it cannot rise into a mighty tree. If roots do not grow deep, the tree will not stand when storms arrive. In the same way, my beloved child, I have used seasons of pressure to deepen your faith, mature your soul, and teach your heart to rely upon me rather than upon its own strength. Just as a potter places his hands upon soft clay, I am shaping you through every circumstance. At times you have felt pressed and turned in ways you could not understand. But the potter does not do this to destroy the vessel. He does it to form it into something more beautiful and more useful. We are the clay, and you are our potter. As Isaiah 64:8 says, I am creating within you a vessel capable of carrying more of my presence, my wisdom, and my power, and my beloved child. I am also like a refiner of gold. When gold is placed into the fire, every impurity rises to the surface so it may be removed. If gold could speak, perhaps it would believe the fire was destroying it. Yet the fire is only revealing the true beauty hidden within. In the same way, the hardships you have endured have exposed fears, wounds, and weaknesses within you, not so you would live in shame, but so that I could heal and purify you. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. As Malachi 3:3 says, I do not want you to appear strong only on the outside. I want your soul to become truly pure and steadfast. Without seasons of refining, you would struggle to stand firm in the season of glory I am preparing for you. Some blessings are so great that an immature soul would not yet have the strength to carry them well. That is why I have used this journey to teach you patience, humility, and faithfulness. Remember Joseph, if I had brought him into the palace too soon, his heart would not have been ready to bear such great responsibility. The wilderness, the prison, and the betrayal became a hidden school, preparing him for the day he would be lifted up. It is the same for you, my beloved child. The seasons you once called delays are actually the very places where I am preparing you for things far greater than anything you have ever asked for. But I want you to know that a new season is drawing near. The years ahead will not merely be a repetition of old things. I am doing something new from the very roots of your soul. Invisible chains that have held you back for far too long will begin to fall away. Fears that once caused you to hesitate will gradually lose their power. Old wounds you once believed would ache forever will be healed in deep and lasting ways. I am not only changing the circumstances around you, I am renewing you from within. My beloved child, the day will come when you realize that you no longer respond the way you once did. The things that once made you tremble no longer rule over your heart. The things that once dragged you into despair no longer carry the same power. I am placing within you a new freedom. If the Son sets you free, you shall be free indeed. As John 8:36 says, that freedom is not merely a passing feeling, but your soul being opened wide like a bird, finally escaping the cage that held it captive for too long. You will walk more lightly because you will no longer carry so many old burdens. The voices that continually condemned you will gradually fall silent before the truth I speak over your life. You will begin to see yourself through my eyes rather than through old failures and wounds. And when that happens, new life will rise within your soul like the waters of spring after a long winter. I am preparing a people who know how to stand firm in that freedom, people who no longer live under the yoke of fear, shame, or spiritual bondage. And my beloved child, I want you to become part of that people, not so that you may be exalted, but so that your life may become living proof that I am still restoring, healing, and transforming human souls in profound ways. Therefore, today, do not despise the difficult seasons you have walked through. Do not look back upon them only through the lens of pain. Look with spiritual eyes and recognize what my hand has quietly been building within you. I have not wasted a single trial. Every one of them has been preparing you for the moment when you will stand in a new light. With a renewed soul, a healed heart, and wings spread wide to soar into the season of freedom I appointed for you before time began. My beloved child, I am preparing to lift you to a higher place, not so that you may seek honor for yourself, but so that through your life, my light and my name may be revealed more clearly in this world. Doors that once seemed firmly shut will suddenly open before you. Places you once believed you could never enter, I will lead you into at the appointed time. But my child, do not think this lifting up is meant to satisfy human pride. I raise you up so that many others may see that I am still moving, still faithful to those who place their trust in me. Remember Joseph. People once threw him into a pit and forgot him in prison. But when my appointed time came, no door could stop what I had ordained for him. In a single day, I brought him from the prison to stand before the throne of the king. In the same way, my beloved child, there are transitions I am preparing for your life that you cannot yet fully imagine. What I open before you will not come from your own strength or cleverness, but from my guiding hand. I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. As Revelation 3:8 says, you will no longer walk alone as you did in previous seasons. I am connecting you with people who share the same heart, the same longing, and the same fire of my revival within their souls. There are divine connections. I am preparing people who will strengthen you when you are weak, pray with you when you are weary, and build with you what I am doing upon this earth. This is not the season of lone warriors trying to carry everything in their own strength. I am building one body, united in my love and my power. If one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. As 1 Corinthians 12:26 says, I want my people to learn how to walk together in humility and mutual support. My beloved child, what I am teaching you is not only how to pray in sacred moments, but how to live in my presence every day. The time will come when you realize that I am not present only in church or in the moments when you kneel in prayer. I am with you in every breath, every step, and every ordinary decision. My presence will become real to you like a river flowing through a dry soul, like a fire warming a cold heart, like a gentle hand keeping you steady in the storm. In Him we live and move and have our being. As Acts 17:28 says, I want you to live with the awareness that I am always very near. There will be days when you feel me in quiet peace amid chaotic circumstances. There will be moments when you recognize me through a word of encouragement at just the right time, through a gentle prompting within your heart, or through unexpected strength lifting you up when you thought you could not take another step. Little by little, you will understand that my presence is not a distant concept to be learned only by the mind, but a living reality that nourishes your soul each day. And my beloved child, as you enter this new season, you will no longer be the same as before. The years of refining you have passed through were not merely for you to endure pain, but for me to transform you from within. I am making you into a carrier of fire, the fire of revival, the fire of love, and the fire of hope. There will be people who look at your life and realize that I truly can heal, restore, and renew a soul. There will be people standing amid brokenness who find hope simply because they see you still standing firm through the shakings of life. I am building within you a steadfastness that will not be easily moved by circumstances. The storms you have endured have not weakened you as you once believed. They are teaching you how to stand upon the rock instead of upon the sand. The righteous will be like a tree planted by the waters. As Jeremiah 17:8 says, I am causing the roots of your faith to grow deeper so that even in a season of drought, your soul will still remain alive. Therefore today, my beloved child, prepare your heart. Do not continue holding on to shame or doubt like chains around your soul. Do not diminish what I have placed within you simply because the past once wounded you. I am calling you to rise up in faith and take hold of my promise with all your heart. There are many things I am doing in secret that your eyes have not yet fully seen, but do not underestimate them. The roots of a tree always grow in silence before its branches stretch out beneath the sunlight. Remember David. Before he was publicly anointed as king, he spent years hidden in the fields where no one saw him except me. Yet it was in that hidden place that I prepared his heart for something greater. It is the same for you, my beloved child. What I am doing in secret today is the very preparation for the new season that is about to unfold. And when that season arrives, you will look back upon every part of your journey with different eyes. You will understand that not one trial was meaningless. Not one tear was forgotten. Not one season of waiting was wasted. All of it was the path I used to lead you to the place I appointed for you before time began, the place where you stand in a new light, carrying a new fire and living with my presence more clearly than ever before. My beloved child, do not let anxiety over lack make your heart heavy and weary. I know there are days when you look at the circumstances around you and wonder whether you truly have enough to keep moving forward. At times, the resources seem too small. The doors before you appear shut, and the uncertainty of the future leaves your soul troubled. But my beloved child, I want you to remember that I am not the God of scarcity. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. As Psalm 23, 1 says, "When I call you into a purpose, I also prepare the provision necessary for you to fulfill what I have entrusted to you. I do not merely give you enough to survive from day to day. I am the one who can provide abundance so that what I desire to accomplish through your life may be fulfilled. The purpose I have placed upon you is not sustained by your own strength or by the limited resources of humanity, but by provision from heaven. There will be times when you step into situations where you do not know how anything could possibly work out. Yet you will see your every step upheld by me in miraculous ways. Needs that once seemed impossible to meet will suddenly find provision at the appointed time. And the very challenges you thought would stop you will become the places where my glory is revealed even more powerfully. Remember the people of Israel in the wilderness. They had no fields to sow and no storehouses to gather supplies. Yet every morning I gave them manna sufficient for that day. I did not allow them to starve in the dry wilderness. In the same way, my beloved child, I know exactly what you need before you even speak your request. Your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. As Matthew 6:8 says, "Therefore, do not allow fear about tomorrow to make you forget the one who is caring for you today." When you see lack around you, do not look only with natural eyes and lose heart. It is often in places that seem insufficient that I reveal myself as the one who is more than enough. When the 5,000 sat in the wilderness with only 5 loaves and 2 fish, humanity saw only shortage. But when that small offering was placed into my hands, it became a miracle that fed the multitude. My beloved child, do not measure the limits of your future by what is currently in your hands. What matters is not how much you possess, but whose hands your offering is placed into. There will be times when you see doors controlled by people close before you. Opportunities you once hoped for may disappear. People you depended upon may no longer remain beside you. But do not let this fill your heart with overwhelming disappointment. When one door controlled by human hands closes, I can open a door from heaven that no one can shut. What He opens, no one can shut. As Revelation 3:7 says, "Some things I allow to leave your life are not meant to destroy you, but to lead you into something better that I have prepared." My beloved child, I also want you to understand that my provision is not limited only to money or material things. There are people who possess great wealth, yet whose souls are utterly exhausted. But I am caring for you in a far deeper and more complete way. When you lack wisdom, I will give you understanding, so you may know which path to take. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. As James 1:5 says, "When you face fear and feel you do not have enough courage to continue, I will renew the strength of your soul. When your heart runs dry of love because of too many wounds, I will pour my love into you so that you may continue to love and serve. I will also bring into your life the right relationships at the right time, people who can strengthen you, pray with you, and walk beside you on this journey. Some encounters are not accidents. They are my divine arrangements, so that you will not walk alone. Just as I gave Aaron to Moses when he felt weak in speech, I also know how to place the right people beside you in the proper season. My beloved child, every day I go before you. You are not left to manage on your own in this uncertain world. I prepare ahead the things you cannot yet see. There are dangers I quietly protect you from without your knowledge. There are opportunities I am already preparing ahead while you are still praying in the present moment. The Lord Himself goes before you. As Deuteronomy 31:8 says, "I never abandon you alone on the journey I have called you to walk." Therefore, do not allow your heart to be bound by anxiety. Do not live like an orphan, trying to obtain everything through your own strength. You are my child, and I am a faithful Father. The birds of the air neither sow nor reap, yet I still feed them. The flowers of the field do not make clothing for themselves, yet I still clothe them in beauty. How much more precious are you than these? What I promise you is not a life without trials, but a presence and provision that will never depart from you. My beloved child, as you walk in the purpose I have prepared for you, you will begin to realize that my provision always arrives at the appointed time, not too early, so that pride may grow within you, and not too late, so that despair overtakes you. Then you will look back upon your journey and recognize that there was never a single day when I truly left you without what you needed. It was I who quietly carried you through every season, meeting every need and turning places of lack into living testimonies of my eternal faithfulness. My beloved child, there are things in your life that at first appear very small and ordinary, so small that you may easily overlook them and believe they are unimportant. But my child, I want you to know that not every delay or heaviness within your soul is merely meaningless coincidence. There are invisible pressures seeking to weary you, slow your steps, and gradually cause you to lose the freedom I desire to give you. I do not speak these things to plant fear within your heart, but to awaken you from spiritual carelessness. For some chains begin very quietly, a small coldness within, a disappointment left unhealed, a negative voice you have listened to for too long, and little by little they become burdens that make it difficult for your soul to continue walking in the light. I see what your natural eyes cannot yet perceive. I hear even the sighs whose source you yourself sometimes cannot understand. There are battles taking place deep within your mind and soul that leave you feeling as though you are standing still despite all your efforts. You pray, yet still feel heavy. You desire to move forward, yet sense an invisible force holding you back. My beloved child, do not think that I am unaware of this. I understand every hidden battle within you, but I want you to remember that the truth I reveal is not meant to make you afraid, but to set you free from the things that have been quietly binding you. The enemy of your soul loves to work in darkness and unconsciousness. It does not always need to attack through great and obvious things. Often it only needs to make you gradually grow accustomed to spiritual weariness, to small repeated feelings of hopelessness, to the thought that things will always be this way. But my child, I have not called you to live imprisoned by fear or stagnation. He brought them out of darkness and the shadow of death, and broke their chains apart. As Psalm 14 says, "What I did for my people in former days, I still do for you today." Remember the woman who had been bent over for 18 years in the book of Luke. People saw only a weakened body, but I saw a deeper bondage weighing upon her. And when I touched her, that chain was broken, and her body stood upright again. In the same way, my beloved child, there are things weighing upon your mind and soul that I desire to set you free from. I do not want you to continue bowing beneath the burden of fear, shame, or disappointment. I want you to stand upright in the freedom of the children of God. But, my beloved child, freedom begins when you recognize what is trying to hold you back. Do not treat lightly the habits that make your soul grow cold. Do not continue tolerating the voices that cause you to doubt your worth in me. Do not allow old wounds to become strongholds that close your heart to the light. There are things that must be brought under my light so they may lose their power over you. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. As John 8:32 says, "I am not condemning you, my beloved child." A father does not point out his child's wound to shame them, but to heal it before it becomes more serious. I am doing the same. I am calling you closer to me so that I may touch the deepest hidden places of your soul, the places you have tried to hide because you thought no one could understand. I know the fears you have never spoken aloud. I know the weariness you try to conceal behind your smile, and I want to bring my light into those very places. My beloved child, do not let fear cause you to withdraw. It is precisely when darkness seems strongest that my light often shines most brilliantly. When the people of Israel stood before the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army behind them, Everything seemed hopeless. Yet it was in that very place of impossibility that I opened a path through the sea. When Paul and Silas were chained in the prison, they still lifted their voices in praise. And then the ground shook and the chains fell away. Do you see, my beloved child? What seems like the final place of captivity can become the place where I reveal my power to deliver. I want you to learn to fight, not with panic, but with faith. When you feel invisible pressure pulling you down, do not immediately surrender to despair. Run to me in prayer. Let my word fill your mind instead of the voices of darkness. Continue to worship even when your heart still feels heavy. There are chains that will not be broken by your own strength, but will dissolve when my light and my presence flood in. My beloved child, I am calling you out of spiritual stagnation and into new freedom. I did not create you to live imprisoned by fear or disappointment. I called you to walk in my light, my peace, in my power. And whatever you are facing today, remember this: no darkness is stronger than my light. No chain is beyond my power to break. No invisible wall can forever hold the one whom I have appointed for freedom. Therefore, today, my beloved child, open your heart before my light. Do not run from the truth I am revealing to you. Let me touch the deepest hidden places within your soul. Then you will begin to see that the things which have held you back for so long will gradually lose their power, so that you may walk forward more lightly, more strongly, and closer to me than ever before. My beloved child, remember this deeply within your heart. The obstacles you are facing are not the final destiny of your life. They do not have the authority to determine the future I have appointed for you. Before your eyes, they may appear like towering walls, like burdens that never seem to end. But before my power, they are only like a thin mist that disappears when the sun rises. If God is for us, who can be against us? As Romans 8:31 says, no chain is stronger than my delivering hand. But my beloved child, the greatest danger is not always the power of darkness itself. Often it is when your soul gradually becomes so accustomed to living beneath that burden that it begins to believe such a life is normal. There are people who have become so used to delay that they no longer expect anything new from me. They have grown accustomed to weariness, to repeated disappointment, and little by little, their souls have accepted captivity as a natural part of life. But I did not create you to live that way. I did not call you to walk in endless cycles of fear and stagnation. I called you into the freedom of the children of God, where your soul can breathe peace and walk in the light. I came that they may have life, and have it abundantly. As John 10:10 says, what I have prepared for you is not merely survival through the passing days, but a life filled with hope, purpose, and my presence. Therefore today, my beloved child, I am inviting you to pause for a moment amid the rush of life and look deeply into your own soul. Is there anything quietly pulling you away from my light? Is there a habit that is causing your faith to grow cold? Is there a relationship draining away your peace and spiritual strength? Is there a voice you have listened to for so long that you now believe you can never truly change? I do not ask these things to condemn you, but to set you free. For there are things that lose their power only when they are brought into the light of truth. Remember the story of Achan in the book of Joshua. One hidden thing was enough to bring trouble upon the entire people in battle. In the same way, my beloved child, there are small hidden places within your soul that, if left in darkness, can gradually become greater chains over time. But when you allow me to shine my light upon them, what was hidden will no longer have power to rule over you. Search me, O God, as Psalm 139:23 says. That is not the prayer of a perfect person, but of one who truly desires to be transformed. I do not condemn you for the times you have stumbled. I know your weakness. I remember that you are but dust. When Peter began to sink into the water because of fear, I did not stand far away condemning him. I reached out my hand and lifted him up. In the same way, my beloved child, I do not look upon you with the harsh eyes of accusation, but I warn you because I love you too much to remain silent while you continue walking toward danger. Imagine a father who sees a car rushing forward while his little child unknowingly steps into the road. That father would not remain silent. He would cry out, run forward, and do everything possible to save his child from harm. I am the same way. Some of the words I speak to you today are like a trumpet sounding an alarm for your soul, so that you may awaken before small things become chains far more difficult to break. Watch and pray. As Matthew 26:41 says, I do not want you to fall asleep amid this age, filled with distractions and spiritual dangers. Do not let the busyness of life cause you to miss my gentle yet urgent calling. The world is always trying to fill your mind with noise, with anxiety, and with temporary things, so that you no longer make time to listen to your own soul. But, my beloved child, I am calling you back to the quiet place with me. It is in stillness that you will recognize what must be released and what must be held tightly. It is only when you remain close to me that you will clearly discern which voices come from the light and which things are pulling you toward darkness. What I am preparing for you is far greater than what you can currently see before your eyes. I do not merely want to give you a few small blessings so that life becomes easier to endure. I am opening before you an entire treasury of grace, healing, freedom, and eternal purpose. There are doors of glory that only my hand can open, but you will struggle to enter them if you continue carrying the old burdens that bind your soul. My beloved child, I am calling you out of the normal state that darkness has made you accept for far too long. Do not continue accepting stagnation as your destiny. Do not believe you are meant to live forever beneath old limitations. I created you for freedom, for light, and for abundant life in me. As you allow my light to shine into every hidden place, the things that once quietly held you back will gradually lose their power. Therefore today, open your heart deeply before me. Do not fear the truth I reveal. Do not hide the places that need healing. Let me touch every part of your soul. Then you will see that the things which once bound you are no longer your destiny, but only mist, disappearing before the rising of my righteous Son, the one calling you into freedom, light, and the glorious path I prepared for you before time began. My beloved child, I know your soul has grown weary after long days of silent struggle. I see the tears you try to hide from others. I hear even the sighs your lips have never spoken aloud. There have been nights when you lay awake asking why. After trying so hard, praying so deeply, and trusting so faithfully, you still seem unable to move beyond the barriers before you. At times, you feel as though you are running in circles with no escape, moving forward only to be pulled backward again. But my beloved child, today I want you to hear this clearly. Those walls are not the final destination of your life. They do not exist to imprison you forever. What you are going through is not evidence that I have forgotten you. Often, it is in the places that seem most hopeless that I am doing my deepest work within your soul. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. As James 1-3 says, there are things I can shape within you only through seasons of waiting and pressure. I do not allow trials to come in order to crush you, but to refine you into someone stronger than you ever believed you could become. Remember David before he ascended the throne. Before all Israel saw him as king, I allowed him to pass through years of fleeing in the wilderness, facing betrayal, loneliness, and danger. There were surely many moments when he wondered why the promise had not yet been fulfilled. Yet it was those dark caves that were forming within him a heart deep enough to carry a greater responsibility. It is the same for you, my beloved child. The barriers before you today are not merely blocking your way. They are revealing the places within your heart that I desire to heal, strengthen, and make steadfast. There are wounds I want to heal before I bring you into the new season. There are fears I want to uproot before I open greater doors for you. There are areas within your soul that are still easily shaken, and I am making them steadfast. For when my appointed time comes, I do not want you to enter the blessing with a fragile heart that easily collapses. I am preparing you so that when the door opens, you will not step through it merely with temporary excitement, but with maturity, stability, and spiritual power. My beloved child, do not mistake delay for rejection. A seed does not die simply because it remains beneath the soil for a long time. It is being prepared for the day it will sprout. There are things I am doing in secret that your eyes cannot yet see. When Joseph was in prison, he may have thought every door had been closed forever. But in the very place that seemed to hold him captive, I was arranging every step for the day I would lift him up. In the same way, my beloved child, what you call being held back is often heaven's preparation for a breakthrough greater than you imagine. Therefore today, I call you to be watchful, but not afraid. What is happening around you is not a sign of failure. Often, the strongest resistance appears when you are standing very close to the door of change. The enemy often attacks most fiercely when it knows your soul is about to step into the new thing I have prepared. But, my beloved child, do not allow the whispers of doubt to turn your eyes away from me. Do not allow your present circumstances to define the future I have spoken over your life. When Peter stepped out of the boat onto the water, he only began to sink when his eyes turned away from me and looked at the wind and waves. You are the same. If you focus only on what is opposing you, your heart will quickly become filled with fear. But if you continue looking to me, you will realize that my hand is still holding you in the middle of the storm. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. As Joshua 1:9 says, I do not say this because you will never face battles, but because I will be with you in every battle. My beloved child, I am working even in the dark places you cannot yet see. There are schemes I am exposing. There are chains gradually losing their power over your life. There are doors being prepared to open at the appointed time. And there are things I am untangling within your soul so that you will no longer remain trapped in the old cycle of weariness. Do not give up just before the doorway of change. Do not let go simply because you have not yet seen the full result. A farmer does not stop sowing seeds merely because the harvest does not appear immediately. He continues watering, continues waiting, and trusts that life is quietly growing beneath the soil. It is the same for you, my beloved child. Continue praying, continue standing firm, and continue remaining faithful. For I am doing far more than your eyes can presently see. And the time will come when you look back upon this weary season with different eyes. You will realize that the very things which once caused you to weep were actually deepening the roots of your faith. The walls that once discouraged you were preparing you for greater strength. And you will understand that I never left you for even a single moment. It was I who quietly led you through every dark night to bring you to the dawn. I had already appointed the place where you no longer walk in fear or exhaustion, but in freedom, maturity, and new power that comes from me. My beloved child, today I do not speak to you like a passing breeze that disappears into emptiness. My word is a call sounding through the long night to awaken your soul from the silent carelessness that has begun to cover many hearts. There are times when you think the things making you weary are only small collisions of life, a passing frustration, a small wound within your heart, a painful word spoken against you that you bury deep inside while continuing on as though nothing happened. But my beloved child, many great battles begin from very small things that people fail to notice. A tiny seed, once planted in the soil, grows over time. In the same way, wounds left unhealed can quietly take root within your soul. A little bitterness left outside, my light can become hardness of heart. Repeated disappointments can slowly open the door for despair to enter. A negative thought you nurture for too long can become a chain, holding your mind captive in fear. The enemy rarely begins with things that are obvious. It prefers to plant small seeds in darkness and wait for them to grow into strongholds within the human heart. Catch the little foxes that spoil the vineyards. As Song of Solomon 2:15 says, "What seems small today can become a heavy burden tomorrow if you do not recognize it and bring it into my light." My beloved child, I do not want your heart to gradually become hardened against my gentle voice. There are souls who do not collapse in a single day, but slowly drift away from me through layers of unhealed wounds, through small areas of spiritual coldness left ignored, through every moment they choose silence instead of bringing their burdens to me. Just as a small stream of water continually dripping can wear through stone, the things you consider insignificant can quietly erode your peace and spiritual freedom. Therefore today, I speak not to condemn you, but to awaken you through the love of a father. When a watchman sees a fire beginning in the night, he does not remain silent simply because the flame is still small. He cries out loudly in order to save the entire house from destruction. I am the same way. My beloved child, I do not want you sleeping through spiritual warning signs. I do not want you continuing to carry burdens I never intended for you to bear. I know there are pressures quietly tightening around your soul. There are thoughts that leave you weary. There are old memories still pulling you back into pain. There are relationships draining your heart that you have not yet found the courage to confront. But my beloved child, I did not create you to live in bondage like this. My desire for you has always been freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. As 2 Corinthians 3:17 says, I want you to walk with a light soul, with eyes full of hope, and with a heart no longer chained by the darkness of the past. Remember Lazarus when he came out of the tomb at my command. Though he had been brought back to life, he was still wrapped in grave clothes and needed to be unbound in order to truly walk in freedom. Many souls today are the same way. They have heard the call of life, yet they are still bound by invisible chains of fear, bitterness, or shame. My beloved child, I do not only want to raise you back to life, I also want to remove everything that is still wrapped tightly around your soul. You are not called to live an ordinary life centered only on surviving from day to day. I have placed within your heart a vision greater than what you can presently see. I created you to become a light in places of darkness, to carry hope into places filled with despair, and through your life to help many recognize that I am still alive and still moving. You are the light of the world. As Matthew 5:14 says, but light cannot shine brightly if the soul is still weighed down by chains that have not yet been removed. My beloved child, I am calling you closer to me so that I may heal you at the root instead of merely covering the surface. Do not fear facing the hidden places within your heart. Do not continue hiding the places that need healing. A gardener must pull weeds out by their roots if the garden is truly to bear fruit. In the same way, I desire to uproot the things that are quietly draining away your spiritual life. Therefore today, let my voice awaken your soul. Stay watchful against the small things trying to pull you away from my peace. Be quick to forgive before bitterness takes root. Bring your wounds to my feet before they become walls, separating you from the light. Keep your heart tender so that my Holy Spirit may continue touching and guiding you. Then you will begin to see that the things which once quietly imprisoned you are losing their power. Invisible walls will fall beneath the light of my truth. Your soul will become lighter, freer, and closer to me. For I did not call you to live in captivity, but to walk in the complete freedom of one who belongs to the light and who has been loved by me since before the foundation of the world. My beloved child, in this very moment, I want you to remain spiritually alert and not allow your soul to be swept away by the things that pull you far from my voice. There are many things around you trying to draw your attention toward temporary matters, leaving your mind restless and weary. The enemy of your soul understands that it does not always need to destroy you all at once. Often, what it desires most is simply to distract you long enough that you no longer recognize what I am doing in your life. If it can keep you so busy that you no longer pray deeply, so exhausted that you no longer listen for my voice, or cause your heart to grow cold little by little, then it knows your soul will slowly drift away from the light without even realizing it. My beloved child, remember the story of Martha and Mary. Martha was occupied with many tasks, while Mary sat at my feet to listen. I did not rebuke service itself, but I reminded them that one thing was more important than all the rest: remaining close to me and recognizing my voice. The world constantly tries to pull you into the whirlwind of distraction so that you forget what is truly happening within your soul. But my child, I am calling you back to the quiet place where you can see with spiritual eyes the things I am revealing. The enemy knows very well that I am preparing a breakthrough for you. It knows there are doors I am about to open. It knows there are chains that will be broken if you continue standing firm in faith. And for that very reason, it tries in every way to make you careless, so that you will think the signs I send are only small matters unworthy of attention. But my beloved child, do not take lightly the small stirrings within your heart. There are times when I prompt you to stop because I see danger ahead that you cannot yet see. There are times when I make your heart uneasy about something, not to disturb you, but to protect you from what would wound your soul more deeply later. A good shepherd does not wait until the sheep falls into the ravine before he speaks. He calls it back the moment he sees it beginning to wander off the path. I am the same. My beloved child, when I stir your heart about a habit, a relationship, a thought, or a direction, that is my grace at work. I do not want you to wait until small hurts become deep wounds. I do not want you to keep even a small bitterness in your heart until it becomes resentment that burns through your soul. See to it that no root of bitterness springs up. As Hebrews 12:15 says, a bitter root does not appear in a single night. It grows gradually when the soul ignores the things that need healing. My beloved child, I also do not want the small doors you unknowingly open to darkness to remain until they become strongholds, difficult to tear down. A little coldness today, if left unrecognized, can become hardness tomorrow. A small disappointment that is not brought to me can slowly turn into despair. But I am calling you close to me right now so that those chains may be broken while they are still weak. Remember Samson. He did not lose his strength in a single moment. His decline began with small compromises he allowed to remain in his life. Little by little, that small thing opened the way for greater bondage. In the same way, my beloved child, I want you to learn faithfulness and watchfulness even in the smallest matters of your soul. For many great battles are decided by hidden choices no one else sees. I am not warning you so that you will live in fear or suspicion of everything around you. I speak because I love you. A loving father will not remain silent when he sees something that could harm his child. And I love you too much to let you continue walking close to chains without calling you back. My beloved child, what I am preparing for your life is greater than what you can see today. Not only will your own life be changed, but many others will also be touched through the transformation I am bringing within you. There are souls waiting to rediscover hope through my light shining in your life. There are people who will be healed because you learn to walk in freedom. That is why the battle around your soul is not as small as you think. But do not fear. My beloved child, the enemy trembles most fiercely when it knows the moment of deliverance is drawing near. If I am awakening you, If I am stirring your heart, it is because I am preparing to lead you into greater freedom. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. As 1 John 4:4 says, "No stronghold is greater than my power. No darkness can stand when my light floods in." Therefore today, keep your heart watchful. Do not continue delaying what I am prompting you to face. Be quick to forgive when I urge you to forgive. Cut off what is making your soul grow cold. Return to the hidden place of prayer with me before your mind is filled with the noise of the world. And let me intervene now, while the chains have not yet become shackles too heavy to bear. Then you will see that the things which once held you back will gradually collapse. Invisible strongholds will lose their power. My light will flood into the places once occupied by darkness, and your soul will step out of the season of captivity into the freedom, peace, and power I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. My beloved child, pause for a moment amid the hurried movements of life and allow your soul to become still before me. There is so much noise surrounding you each day: worries, endless thoughts, invisible pressures that make it difficult for your heart to hear my gentle voice. But my beloved child, it is in stillness that the deepest things are revealed. Be still and know that I am God. As Psalm 46:10 says, I am not calling you into silence to condemn you, but to heal and restore your soul. Be honest with yourself before me. Is there something within your heart you are trying to avoid? Is there a wound you have hidden for so long that you thought it had disappeared, while in truth it still quietly aches within you? Is there a relationship draining away your peace that you know you need to release? Is there someone you need to forgive, yet bitterness still remains in your heart? Or are there burdens you continue trying to carry instead of laying them down at my feet? My beloved child, do not be afraid to face these things. I do not reveal anything in order to shame you. A physician must touch the wound before healing it. A loving father does not point out what is wrong in order to push his child lower, but to help them rise stronger. I am the same way. When I shine light into a hidden corner of your heart, it is not rejection, but a doorway leading to freedom. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. As Psalm 147:3 says, there are souls who have lived with pain for so long that they no longer believe healing is possible. They carry old wounds like garments worn for too many years. But my beloved child, I do not want you merely surviving with cracks hidden inside your soul. I want to restore you deeply and completely. When the Samaritan woman met me at the well, I did not avoid the wounds and failures of her life. I touched the truth within her heart, not to condemn her, but to give her living water that would renew her soul. In the same way today, I am inviting you to bring everything hidden into the light of my love. Do not continue holding on to the things making your heart heavy. There are burdens you were never created to carry alone. There are pains that can only truly be healed when you dare to lay them down at my feet. Let your tears be poured out before me, instead of burying them deep in silence. Let forgiveness flow before bitterness takes deeper root. Forgiveness does not mean declaring that what others did was right. Forgiveness means choosing not to let darkness continue imprisoning your soul. My beloved child, now I am also calling you to keep your mind fixed on me more than ever before. This world is filled with noise that scatters the soul. Small worries, daily pressures, and countless temporary things can easily cloud the vision I have placed within your heart. But do not allow fleeting matters to make you forget the eternal things I am preparing. Remember Peter when he walked upon the water. As long as his eyes remained fixed on me, he stood firm amid the waves. But when he began looking at the storm, fear caused him to sink. It is the same for you. My beloved child, what you focus on will shape the strength of your soul. The enemy wants you to believe that everything will always remain as it is now. It wants you to think this stagnation is permanent, that you will never truly change or step into something new. But I say to you that no situation is too hardened for my power. No chain exists that I cannot break. No circumstance is beyond my ability to transform. With God, all things are possible. As Matthew 19:26 says, "You have prayed through days when no one else could see. You have waited through seasons that seemed to show no sign of change. You continued standing firm even when your soul grew weary. And my beloved child, I want you to know that none of it has been in vain. A farmer does not see the harvest the moment the seed is planted. Yet beneath the soil, life is quietly growing. In the same way, I am working in places your eyes cannot yet see. A breakthrough is being prepared for your life, not merely a small outward change, but a deep redirection within the very flow of your soul. There are doors I am opening. There are chains growing weaker. There are dry places within your heart that are about to be refreshed again by my living water. But to step into these things, you must keep your heart close to me. Remain tender before my voice, and be willing to release whatever I reveal to you. Therefore today, my beloved child, remain in my presence. Do not run from what I am bringing into the light. Do not let the noise of the world make you forget what I am speaking over your life. Keep your faith steadfast. Continue praying. Continue placing your trust in me. Then you will see that the very thing which once made you feel trapped will become the place where I open a new path, a path leading you into the freedom, healing, and breakthrough I have long prepared for your soul. My beloved child, in this moment, I do not merely want you to hear comforting words and let them drift away like a passing wind. I am placing into your hands something far more precious, a spiritual key formed from my own word and wisdom. That key cannot be seen with natural eyes, yet it carries the power to open doors your own strength could never open, and to remove the things that have quietly held you back for so long. I will place the key, as I once declared in Isaiah 22:22. What I open, no one can shut, and what I remove, no chain can hold in place. My beloved child, you have prayed more than you think I have heard. You have waited longer than your heart wished to endure. There have been seasons when you sought me through tears and silence, wondering whether you were truly moving forward at all. But today I tell you that the time of opening is drawing near. What I am giving you is not merely a beautiful idea or temporary encouragement. I am giving you a spiritual strategy to overcome the walls that have stood before you for far too long. But my beloved child, no matter how precious a key may be, it is useless if the one holding it never uses it. Therefore, I am calling you not to pass lightly over my voice. Do not allow your mind to become so scattered by noise that you miss what I am placing within your soul right now. Many people hear my words with their ears but never truly open their hearts to receive them by faith. And so they continue standing before closed doors even though the key is already in their hands. Therefore today, my beloved child, truly pause before me. Let your soul become still like the calm surface of a quiet lake, so that my voice may sound more clearly within your heart. Incline your ear and come to me. As Isaiah 55:3 says, I do not want you merely reading these words out of habit. I want you to open your heart so that my light may enter deeply into the places you once closed off because of fear, disappointment, or weariness. When you truly listen, I will give you what goes beyond natural human understanding. Decisions that once confused you will begin to grow clear. Paths that once filled you with fear will be illuminated step by step. Places you once believed you lacked the courage to enter, I will strengthen you to walk through. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. As James 1:5 says, I do not only want to give you answers, I want to give you wisdom to recognize the right timing, the right direction, and the right actions for every season of your life. My beloved child, the key I give you is not meant for you to live in fear of darkness, but to walk in the authority of the light. There are invisible chains that have tried to hold your mind in disappointment and stagnation. There are spiritual strongholds built from lies you have listened to for too long, that you are not enough, that you will never change, that you will remain trapped forever. But today I want you to know that the light of my truth can shatter all of these things. When you receive my word with faith, the walls that once convinced you that you were imprisoned will begin to crack apart. Remember Joshua before the walls of Jericho. That city appeared impossible to conquer by human strength. But I did not give him natural power. I gave him a strategy from heaven. And when he obeyed my voice, even the strongest walls collapsed. In the same way, my beloved child, there are things in your life that will not be broken through merely by natural effort, but by obedience and faith in the strategy I give. I do not want you to continue living beneath old limitations. I am calling you into a new level of freedom where your soul is no longer imprisoned by fear, where your mind is no longer bound by the past, where your heart can love and hope without being weighed down by old darkness. But to step into that place, you must learn to keep your heart close to me and your attention fixed more on my voice than on the noise of the world. My beloved child, there are people who remain standing before new doors because they still cling to old things I already told them to release. But today I am inviting you to lay every burden down at my feet. Let me lighten your soul. Let me replace the voices of doubt with the truth I speak over your life. Let me renew your mind so that you may see the path I am opening before you. When you open your heart to receive what I am giving today, you will realize that you are no longer walking by your own strength. I will become the light guiding you through dark places. I will be your strength when you are weak. I will be your wisdom when you do not know what to do. And step by step, you will see doors that once seemed tightly locked begin to open before you. Therefore today, my beloved child, receive the key I am placing into your hands with faith. Do not let it remain unused within your grasp. Listen deeply. Walk in obedience, and trust that I am leading you into a new season, a season of opening, deliverance, and freedom that I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. My beloved child, let my words sink deeply into your soul like cool water flowing through land that has long been dry without rain. Do not let the things I speak today merely brush against your mind and disappear like the morning mist. Many people hear my word but never allow it to take root within their hearts. And so when the winds of testing come, everything they heard is swept away. But, my beloved child, I am inviting you to open your soul wide to receive the new thing I am sowing within you. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. As Revelation 2:7 says, hear not only with your ears, but with a heart willing to be transformed. I want you to keep your heart soft before me. Do not let complacency or the feeling that you already know cause you to miss the new season I am opening. There are people who have become so familiar with spiritual things that they no longer tremble at my voice. They hear, yet no longer expect. They read, yet no longer hunger. But my beloved child, I do not want your soul to become like hardened ground that can no longer receive fresh seed. I am doing something new, and that new thing requires a heart willing to receive it. Perhaps within yourself you may say that you have heard similar words before, but I tell you, what I am speaking today is not merely an old echo from the past. This is a word for the very season you are entering. Every time I speak, my words carry a fresh stream of grace for the present moment, just as the manna I gave the people of Israel was new every morning. My word for you also carries fresh life for the journey you are walking today. His mercies are new every morning. As Lamentation 3:23 says, I do not feed your soul with old bread that has grown dry. but with fresh bread from heaven. My beloved child, my word is never meaningless sound. When I speak, power goes forth with my word. My word shall not return to me void. As Isaiah 55:11 says, what I speak can open places that have been locked for many years. What I declare can break chains your own strength could never remove. What I sow today can become a turning point for your soul if you receive it by faith. But, my beloved child, bread placed before someone cannot nourish the one who refuses to eat. Water standing before someone cannot quench the thirst of the one who refuses to drink. Therefore, I am calling you not merely to hear my word as spiritual information and then continue living as before. Receive it as the very breath of life for your soul. Let it go deeper than temporary emotion and become a new foundation for the way you think. Pray and walk. Remember the people of Israel when they stood before the promised land. The door had already been opened before them. Yet many still refused to enter because their hearts were filled with fear and memories of past failures. They looked at their limitations instead of looking at my promise. In the same way, my beloved child, do not let painful experiences from the past convince you that your future will remain forever closed. Do not let old failures make you believe you are unworthy of the new thing I am preparing. I do not look at you only through the failures you have endured. I see what I placed within you before the foundation of the world. When I place the key into your hands, I do not do so for you merely to hold it while standing forever before a closed door. I give it so that you may open the door and step through. I give it so that you may possess the land I have promised for your soul, the land of healing, freedom, maturity, and new purpose. My beloved child, this is not the season for you to remain standing on the sidelines watching from afar. This is not the time to hesitate because you fear you are not enough. When Joshua stood before the Jordan River, the waters only began to part when the priests stepped into the river first. Faith always requires a responding step. In the same way today, I am calling you to reach out and receive what I am giving you, and to move forward courageously even before you can see the entire path. I know there are parts of your heart that still tremble with fear. There are old memories whispering that you will fail again. There are old limitations trying to pull you back into familiar places of safety. But my beloved child, I am not calling you to walk by your own strength. I am the one who goes before you. I am the one who opens doors. I am the one who holds the keys to what no one can shut. Therefore today, open your soul wide before me. Do not keep your heart closed because of old disappointments. Do not allow spiritual pride to make you think you no longer need to be taught. Become like good soil, ready to receive the new seed I am sowing. Then you will see what was once dry begin to sprout. What was once locked shut will begin to open. What once made you think you were trapped will become the doorway leading you into the new season I prepared long ago. My beloved child, your appointed time is drawing near. Rise up in faith, receive the key I am placing into your hands, and step through the new door with courage. For I, the faithful one, am waiting for you on the other side of that new beginning. My beloved child, today I am calling you to lay down the things that quietly cause your heart to close itself to my voice. Not only the obvious forms of pride that are easy to recognize, but also the subtle layers of self-sufficiency hidden deep within your thinking, the place where you begin to believe that you already understand enough, have experienced enough, and have already heard enough about me. My beloved child, the very moment a soul believes itself to be most full may also be the moment it becomes dry without realizing it. A vessel that believes it is already full no longer has room to receive fresh water from heaven. Therefore, I call you back to a heart that is soft and humble like that of a child. Unless you become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. As Matthew 18:3 says, A child does not come to me with the prideful belief that it already knows everything. It comes with trust, hunger, and eyes wide open before what is new. I want your soul to be the same way, not hardened by old experiences, not closed off by old disappointments, but always ready for me to continue teaching and renewing you. Do not let what you have experienced make you believe that I can act only in familiar ways. I am the God who always does new things. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? As Isaiah 43:19 says, there are seasons in which I lead you by one path, and then in the next season, I open an entirely different way. If you cling too tightly to the old way, you may miss the new thing I am opening before you. My beloved child, the battle you are facing today cannot be won merely by yesterday's experience. New challenges require fresh wisdom from heaven. New doors require a deeper faith than you have known before. Some chains will not be broken merely through your own strength or natural understanding. Therefore, I am inviting you to sit at my feet, as Mary once did not hurried, not filled with the noise of anxiety, but with a heart hungry to listen. I want to teach you new strategies for your soul. There are things you once viewed through fear that I will teach you to see through faith. There are places where you once reacted through pain that I will teach you to walk through healing. There are battles you once tried to fight in your own strength that I will teach you to face by standing still in my presence and watching my power move. Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit. As Zechariah 4:6 says, my beloved child, when you open your heart like dry ground, opening itself to the first rain of the season, I will pour new strength into your soul. Little by little, you will begin to see your thinking change. The decisions you make will no longer be controlled by fear as they once were. The words you speak will carry life instead of despair. A new confidence will begin growing within you, not confidence rooted in your own weakness, but a steadfastness born from knowing that I am walking beside you. Remember Joshua after the death of Moses. He stood before an overwhelming responsibility and a land filled with challenges. Yet I did not tell him to rely upon old experience or his own strength. I said to him, be strong and courageous, for I knew that what would keep him standing was not personal ability, but my presence going with him. In the same way today, my beloved child, the new thing I am calling you into may be greater than anything you have ever known before, but I am not calling you to walk into it alone. This is a new season of grace, my beloved child, not the weary repetition of old cycles, but the moment in which I am opening doors that have never before been opened. Old limitations will be broken. Long-standing chains will fall away. New territories are being prepared for your soul to enter, and what I do will not touch only your life. Through your transformation, many others will also find hope and light. Therefore, do not be afraid when I pull you out of what is familiar. Do not draw back simply because what lies ahead is greater than what you have known before. When Peter stepped out of the boat, he was able to walk upon the water only because his eyes remained fixed on me instead of the storm. It is the same for you, my beloved child. If you hold tightly to my hand, you will walk into places you once never dared imagine you could reach. I, the one who gives the key, am also the one who goes before you to open the door. You do not have to break through every barrier by your own strength. What I desire from you is a tender heart, the humility to listen, and faith enough to follow, even when you cannot yet see the entire path. Therefore today, lay down every quiet resistance within your heart. Let me teach you something new. Let me renew your spiritual eyes. Then you will realize that this new season is not something to fear, but my loving invitation to bring you into a place of greater freedom, maturity, and glory than you have ever imagined. My beloved child, today I want you to breathe deeply of my grace, and allow your soul to rest in my presence. You have carried too many burdens in your heart and walked through seasons that left your mind and soul weary. But my beloved child, I have not called you to live forever in exhaustion and heaviness. I am opening your spiritual eyes so you may see that what once seemed motionless is actually beginning to move beneath my hand. Doors you once thought were closed forever are slowly beginning to open. Walls that once discouraged you are showing their first cracks, and chains that held you back for far too long are losing their strength before my light. But, my beloved child, you must receive what I give with trust, not merely with passing emotion. A key only truly has value when it is used to open a door. I am giving you wisdom, strategy, and light for this new season, but you must also walk in obedience and faith. When the people of Israel stood before the Jordan River, the waters did not part until the priests stepped into the river first. In the same way, there are things in your life that will only begin to move when you dare to step forward in faith instead of waiting until everything is completely clear. My beloved child, as you begin to apply what I teach, you will feel a new strength rising within you. Not the brief excitement of emotion, but the deep strength of a soul made alive again by my Holy Spirit. Places you once saw only through fear, you will now begin to see through hope. Things that once made you retreat, you will now have the courage to face. I will renew your vision so that you no longer see only what is before your eyes, but begin to perceive what I am preparing behind the veil of the present moment. I want your heart to burn again with the fire of hope. The enemy has tried to make you so weary that you stop expecting anything new. It wants you to believe that everything will always remain the same, that those doors will never open, and that your soul will always stay trapped in that old cycle. But my beloved child, I declare that this is not your ending. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. As Isaiah 40:31 says, I am renewing the wings of your soul so that you will no longer drag yourself forward in exhaustion, but begin to rise in new freedom. My beloved child, remember that throughout this journey, I have never taken my eyes off you for even a moment. There were nights when you thought you were alone, but I was still there. There were battles you thought you were fighting by yourself, but my hand was still holding you. There were times when you could not see the road ahead, but I was quietly guiding each of your steps through dangerous places. I will never leave you nor forsake you. As Hebrews 13:5 says, my love and faithfulness have never changed because of the circumstances you are passing through. I do not want you merely to survive from one day to the next. I want you to live in spiritual victory, not a victory born from your own strength, but from my presence and my power working within your life. There are souls who only struggle to make it through each day because they have forgotten that I called them into a life far more abundant than mere survival. But my beloved child, I placed a meaningful purpose upon your life before you were formed in your mother's womb. And every single day, whether you can see it or not, I am quietly fulfilling that purpose. Yet, my beloved child, I also want you to understand something very deeply. Spiritual victory does not come only through what I do, it also requires your response. Even a door that has already been unlocked still needs a hand willing to push it open and walk through. I will not force you into the new thing while your heart still clings tightly to the old. I will not drag you against your will. I invite, guide, and strengthen you, but you must also choose to walk with me. Remember Naaman. He came to the prophet Elisha seeking healing. But healing did not come merely because he heard the promise. He had to step into the Jordan River and obey what I told him to do. In the same way, my beloved child, there are things that will only be unlocked when you join faith together with obedient action. Therefore today, I am calling you to cooperate with me with your whole heart. Continue praying, even when you do not yet see every change fully appear. Continue moving forward, even while your legs still tremble with fear. Continue keeping your heart soft and willing to learn. Use the key I have placed into your hands instead of merely staring at it. Then you will begin to see what once seemed unmoving begin to shift. Doors that were once tightly closed will open at the appointed time. Walls that once drove you into despair will collapse before your eyes. And your soul will step into a new season with new strength, new vision, and new freedom, not because you achieved it by yourself, but because you chose to walk with me. Hold on to my hand and trust the one who has never stopped working on your behalf.